this is industry news. I think every department and every business, marketing included, is being asked to do more with less in many instances, whether it's smaller teams or whether it is a smaller budget, you name it. Everyone wants to try to naturally increase efficiency.
Tell me what's going really well right now.
Our brand is showing up stronger for how we want people to think about us as a business and what we do and what our differentiators are.
Hello, and welcome back to the Interior Public Podcast, the show where we discuss business and the inner architecture of leadership in today's world. My name is Mary Diaz. I'm your host. And today I am joined by Sherri Schwartz. She's the head of marketing at Ovation CXM. Sherri, it's so lovely to have you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us about you. Tell us about your work at Ovation CXM.
Yeah. So my name's Sherri Schwartz, and I am the head of marketing at Ovation CXM. And Ovation CXM is a customer experience management platform, and we specifically allow businesses to create and orchestrate exceptional customer experiences through our journey orchestration capabilities. And what makes those unique and different than workflows and other tools that might already be out there is we connect your existing tools so you can get the most out of them, your existing people and departments, but even more importantly, your third-party partners that you rely on in very complicated, in very specific pieces of a customer's journey so that you can better have brand control and full control and brand visibility of what goes on when your customers are also having to interact with those third-party partners. So I run the marketing department where we cover everything from PR to brand to demand to how do we integrate AI into our marketing stack, you name it, we cover it.
Tell me, what does your daily, day-to-day look like as the head of marketing here?
Every day is different. I think that's actually the beauty of and why I've always gravitated to startup, scale-up businesses too, just because I'm a get my hands dirty servant leader. And so I love that, especially in that smaller startup, scale-up world, everything is different because you have to be super comfortable pivoting fast. And so tasks change every single day. It could be that we are optimizing our website and it's all hands on deck. I mean, we're a 4-person crew, so we're very small and every one of us wears multiple hats on the team. And so it could be like today, I'm all in on website because we're optimizing our value proposition and messaging and fixing some UX, UI stuff. And tomorrow it's going to be pivoting to sales enablement and clickable demos. And so it changes every day. That's why I love it because it's never boring, never boring.
I love that. Tell me what's going really well right now for you guys? What's just something you're feeling really good about?
I think, and this is industry news, I think every department and every business, marketing included, is being asked to do more with less in many instances, whether it's smaller teams or whether it is a smaller budget, you name it. Everyone wants to try to naturally increase efficiency, but how do we keep costs and people and things low? And so, what we've actually done, and this is actually over the course of the last 2 years, which has really paid off for us, and we're throwing all hands into it, is we've really focused on organic, social, and organic SEO. And with that, it meant getting away from just top of funnel content and really diving deep into user stories and case studies and middle and bottom of funnel content. And with that, because our ad spend is smaller naturally with a startup scale up business, or at some points you turn things off sometimes. And so we went all in on the organic content train, focusing on thought leadership, also utilization of video in our content strategy. And what we've actually seen as consumers and businesses have pivoted more and more to the usage of ChatGPT, Perplexity, Grok, Deep Research for search. Our brand is showing up stronger for how we want people to think about us as a business and what we do and what our differentiators are. Our brand is outshining there, utilizing these AI LLMs than it ever would have been in the paid ads.
Wow.
Because naturally, sometimes you we're interesting in that in our competitive space, there's no one that really does anything one-to-one to us, but there are other platforms out there that with a lot of money or a lengthy implementation could try to Frankenstein effect create something like that. But they've been around a long time and and they're larger companies and they have massive budgets. So to be able to compete and actually outshine on AI versus not having to have the thousands upon thousands of dollars in paid ads, it's working for us. And we're super proud of that as a team. It's really nice to see organic content can be slow, but we put all bets on the AI LLMs 2 years ago when OpenAI came out, and it's paying off hand over foot for us right now. And, we also started realizing too, when you're running paid ads and you have headlines you're going after, keywords that you're going after, that's not necessarily how people search. And so when they're going and they're using ChatGPT, they're not looking for a top 5 customer experience platforms or top 5 journey platforms. It's like, hey, I'm in merchant services and we're churning customers and I need to fix the onboarding or the activation experience. What tool should I be looking at? And so if you put yourself in the mind of that user and really think through how are they searching? Because they may not even know you exist, right? So you have to really think about writing content for their pain points because they're searching based on their pain points, not based on like your top words of what you are as a platform. Because if you think about it, only 5% of buyers are actively searching for you at any given point in time, which means like if you're following this 95-5 rule in the marketing funnel, in most of their buying cycle, they don't know they have a problem and don't know you exist, or they do know they have a problem but don't know you exist, or they do know they have a problem, think that they've heard about you, but not quite sure you're the one. And they just kind of churn and have different touch points and try to figure it out along the way. And so when you're thinking about it, so many of that buying decision, 95% of the time, if they're using the LLM, they're not searching for you. They're searching for how do I solve my pain point?
Tell me about who your clients are.
Yeah, so we're an industry agnostic platform, but we have found a really sweet spot recently within the payments, financial services, insurance, paytech, fintech world. And if you think about it, it's because we solve for some of the most complex customer journeys.
Okay.
And now we can scale our product down to solve for simple journeys. But our sweet spot is when you have a complex journey, and let's use financial services and let's use bank merchant services. They're relying on third-party partners. They're relying on their core provider, maybe their POS terminal that they're shipping out, you name it. And then when a customer calls up, it feels like 1-800 ping pong. It's no different than like every 6 months you call your cable company because you're arguing over your price increase. Right. And so what happens is you get bounced around, right? Go to the retention department, go to this department. It's no different in banking when a customer calls you, but in many instances, that bank has to pass over that customer to the core provider or to the data exchange provider or to like a manufacturer. And when that customer goes to have that conversation, you have lost all visibility. And if you think about it, you have a customer identification record. Maybe you refer to your customer in your bank portal of ABC123, but when they go to your partner, their unique identifier for that customer might be XYZ78. Well, so how are you able in real time to be able to ensure, because you are still the one solely responsible for that brand reputation, even if it goes really bad at your core provider, you're still to blame because they called you first and you're the one that sold them on this product or service. And so that's really a lot of what we're solving for. But naturally within that, what we've been able to see is we utilize generative AI in our technology too. So we're able to automate up to 55% of your manual tasks. So no, we're not there to automate or replace, obviously, like your bank or your core policies and procedures and compliance. But there are so many different pieces, whether it's hopping in and out of this system or then sending off a manual email or a text. Like we bring all of that in, even the communication aspect. And then we use generative AI to really speed up a lot of these tasks. So we're able to automate up to 55%, which then naturally also shortens the customer's journey duration. And then what we're naturally seeing through this process is we're seeing tripled NPS scores in the first 9 months of using our platform, a 26% reduction in operating costs, and then naturally also increased revenue for your business. But we're doing all of that through the ability to orchestrate these journeys and then use generative AI to be able to automate processes, serve up summarizations on customers and cases and conversations with your customers, and then also insights. We're able to predict based off of previous journeys in the system, hey, this customer is at risk of churn. You might want to reach out. And so we're able to provide a little bit of that customer health capability in there as well.
Where is the biggest hurdle that you guys are facing right now as a company?
Yeah, I think there's a couple pieces. Naturally, within financial services, it takes a little bit longer going through sales cycles and procurement. And a lot of times it's the status quo. What we're really kind of competing against sometimes is the do nothing approach. Or how do I take my existing tech stack and how do I squeeze and do more with that? Can I get it to do this? And so what ends up happening is they're spending so much more money on additional implementation that takes a really long time. And the way that we like to think of ourselves is we're a very low cost umbrella. Think of us as the experience layer of your existing technology and your partners.
Okay.
So we're connecting to your systems because if your systems could do it, then you wouldn't have needed us or you wouldn't have experienced that churn. So there are pieces that you just can't squeeze all the juice out of with your system. So we're able to pull extra out of that. And then we're able to bring that connected experience in with your partners for that visibility and that real-time experience. And out of the box, you can actually start with us within 90 days out of the box. Now, we can have additional connectors or personalization that you might need that obviously can shift some things, but we pride ourselves on being a very low cost but fast to execution platform.
Is this an issue in this market where are people even aware of what's possible?
If you were to ask any business in any industry, I think they would all say customer experience is a priority. But it can sometimes be when you have competing priorities at the organization, maybe one of the first things to slide. And so, for instance, we did a customer survey. We reached out to small businesses, and this was in April. And we said, hey, tell us about your most recent banking experience. Has it gotten better? What do you feel? And over 46% of them felt like they were still devalued as a business and as a customer of the bank. And 1 in 4 of them would still churn and leave because of issues within the onboarding and activation experience of your product and service. And many instances, they just feel like there's misinformation or it's taking too long to solve their issue or not enough relationship managers that have all of the information available. And so think about it, like in the last 10, 15 years, we've experienced this big transformation in digital. And what we've seen is this surge of this niche technology that's popped up. And what you've seen across multiple industries is this rapid adoption of this piece and this piece and this piece and this piece to help with the experience or grow your deposits or increase your revenue or lower your costs. But we're still fast forward in 2025, still making this customer feel undervalued. And so did we do the right things? Are we using the right technology? Is there something out there that can stretch what you're doing right now to be able to prevent this churn and this experience of feeling undervalued? And so it's interesting. I don't think not many people and not many organizations are thinking of journey orchestration as the means to solve for that. And what we like to think of and say is don't think of journey orchestration as just your customer front end, the way that you would use marketing digital channels. Think about it as, especially for what we do, we're solving your operational chaos in the back end. The hopping between systems, the manually chasing and communicating with your internal employees and then your partners and losing that brand control. That's operational chaos. And so we're streamlining that so that you can better provide that customer experience.
Okay, so you've talked about AI, using generative AI. Tell me more.
Yeah, so we've actually used natural language processing and machine learning for a really long time in our product, even before AI came, within the news 2 years ago. What we've done and what we've been able to do since then is add more generative AI capability, add voice AI capability, add chatbot capabilities, and then the summarizations to be able to summarize your customer conversations, your case summarizations. and provide those additional health insights and journey insights for predictions to be able to jump in and prevent something from drastically happening that wouldn't best serve your organization nor the customer. But then on the marketing side of the house, we're a 4-person team.
Right.
And, it's given us the ability to really be able to redefine where are our strengths as a team and where are our gaps. And so our priority as a marketing team is let's fill those gaps with AI tools right now so that we can do more and be more efficient. Or, there's always that saying, jack of all trades, master of none.
Right.
But so how can we use that stuff to be able to fill the skill gap or the people gap, and or even just the length of time it might take us to be able to, with 4 people, execute on a campaign? Well, we can do it in a fraction of the time utilizing AI. So, it's been a big part of competitor research. It's been a big part of, we still have a director of content marketing, and we truly believe AI is not of the space yet to be able to fully write all of your content. Especially, you need the human empathy element. You also need a lot of human touch. Listen, we asked for it to create a draft one day, and I love telling this story of like a blog. It's a great starter, right?
Right.
Like, here's the idea, have a great prompt. What do you think? And it came back, and we asked for it to link out to additional material. Well, then as our content director was looking at it, the ChatGPT was linking out to something that was apparently our owned content. And she was like, I don't remember us having an ebook like this. And clicked on it, and it took you nowhere.
Right.
It took you to nothing. Said link was broken. So then she asked ChatGPT, she was like, I don't think this is one of ours. This link's not working. And so its response back was, you are correct. This isn't. But would you like me to create this ebook for you? And so if you're putting all bets fully on it for your content strategy right now, it's a great example of please have a human being fact checking. And if you're utilizing it for the deep research and needing to have the backlinking and linking to data, it's also been known for us sometimes to provide data and then go link to something that has nothing to correlate to that type of data. And so we use it as a starter. We use it sometimes as an editor or an ideator if we're thinking of quick headlines or punchy things to say, here's what we want to say, but how do I break it out into punchy headlines? It's a great tool for that. We utilize clickable demos with Storylane and their agentic AI to be able to bring an agentic voice and person to life utilizing our clickable demos. We're testing it in some of our video production. We're utilizing AI for account-based marketing work so that we can have better connection in our outreach with our sales teams and when trying to find the right buyers. So there's a variety of ways that we've looked at it, and then we're utilizing it workflow wise to be able to take, if it means building a campaign, and you can take a piece of content, build a workflow into ChatGPT, break it out into social media posts, right? That's less time that my head of content needs to be able to create this social schedule for us. And it's been fantastic for deep research. Also, as you're trying to really continue to make sure that you're differentiating between what you're good at and what your competitors are also saying. So there's a variety of ways to do it. It's excellent also in uploading your transcripts and synthesizing the information from recent conversations. I think we're just really scratching the surface. I think it comes down to what are your business's goals and where do you need to be? And we couldn't be anything other than all in because we have aggressive goals as an organization, and our team needs to continue to still grow, even if it's not with astronomically large budget. And it's been a great means for us to be more productive. There are still things, we still don't have an astronomical budget ad wise to be all the different places or all the different events, but where we can control, and especially in this content world, it's been very beneficial for us. And I also think too, we become master prompters. And it's also, and I mean, that's important to note too. It's only as good as your prompts. And if your
Right.
prompts are weak, you're going to get weak output. And we've had to test and learn along the
What are some of your thoughts on leadership right now? How do you see yourself as a leader?
Yeah, I've been able to have the opportunity to manage large teams of 25 plus people, and then at Ovation, a team of 4. I will never forget in 2015 when I took my first management course, because it was part of, when you were becoming a first time manager, even at like a more smaller level. When I was becoming a manager of product marketing at a different fintech company, the company provided courses on that for a first time manager. And I'll never forget, it was wonderful. And this was over 10 years ago, but the whole course was around servant leadership and what that meant. And that is the way that I've approached everything. I am a servant leader. I get in the trenches with my team, and I work alongside. And I'm also an habitual learner. And so as I build teams and I look to bring people on, I don't know everything. I want to learn, and I want to learn from my team, and I want them to also learn from me. So I love building teams that are these like melting pots of awesomeness, as I like to call them, where we're all experts in our individual crafts, where we can all continue to learn from each other, but all be voices in the room. I don't want one voice to be just a dominator, and I don't want that dominating voice to be me. I want to be able to move boulders if boulders are in the way, and support the team. And if there's a final decision that needs to be made, I want to be that. I want to be that. I want to lead the team by setting out the vision, and then us coming together, because I don't think you have a team that feels all in on the mission and the vision and rowing the boat in the same direction and for the benefit and betterment of the entire team, unless you have that collaborative mindset and you're in the trenches with them. Exactly. And we have it right now where there might be experts. So my product marketer might be the one that's learning agentic AI capabilities for a clickable demo, et cetera. And my content marketer's like, hey, can you teach me too? And so we'll hop on a session and we're all learning that, so that we just have that additional muscle, and we're learning and we have it because we might need to use it ourselves. And we don't like to silo keep knowledge to ourselves. We really share it out. It's great that what I love about the team is I'll go into my inbox all the time, and every single member of my team's like, hey, I subscribed to this newsletter and I love this article, sharing it. I'm forwarding it to you because you might like it. And then the next one does the next one. And then there's, hey, I sat on a great webinar, thought I wanted to share some insights or takeaways, or maybe an influencer on LinkedIn that just had an excellent post. And we're constantly sharing that type of knowledge with each other. And it's a true, how do we make each other better?
I love it. It's like an ecosystem of learning. And
It
it
is.
feels
Well, and what's interesting too, while AI is the hot ticket right now, and every team, no matter the industry or department, needs to look at how can I utilize it to become more efficient, it's growing at such a rapid pace. It's also, and I'll admit, it sometimes becomes overwhelming. And we started keeping this spreadsheet of tools per different type of department within marketing, right? So, hey, here's some AI tools for social we should look at, or here's some for video, or here's some for competitive intel. And then all of a sudden we like couldn't keep up. And so then we're looking at them and we're trying to categorize them in the sheet of like what has free trials and what doesn't. So let's prioritize the free trials. And I would recommend, and here's what I would tell anybody that's looking to adopt: do not sign 1-year contracts, sign monthly contracts, even if it's a little bit more money a month, because AI is constantly changing. The algorithms, the LLMs, everything's getting better constantly. And there's always new technology popping up. And you need to be able to sometimes pivot, and getting locked into that contract may not be best for you. Not right now. And it is overwhelming trying to test it all while doing your work. But the one thing that I can say is like, just do month to month right now. It is. It is. And then what a month ago was a free trial is not a free trial anymore.
Right.
It's paid, because they got a bunch of people on board and they're like, okay, now let's start converting this to revenue. And now you can't try this. That's the one thing I've seen a lot more popping up in the market, and there is no free trial. But that's where I think the month to month, be willing to set aside, a little bit each month to play, and know that, but don't go all in and buy, 10, 15 tools. Buy 2 to 3 that you can manage that month for whatever it is per month. Test it, cancel it. Be prepared. it is a cost to your organization. That's why I don't bloat it too much and just take it one at a time. And the other thing that's getting kind of noisy too is when you're on LinkedIn and it's become now the influencer. It's like an Instagram now. It's in an influencer world. And if you're a marketing leader and you're trying to connect with peers and see what others are doing, it's become so noisy because you can read a post and you're like, oh, that's an interesting post. And then the comments, somebody's like, that's exactly how you're going to create burnout. Here's why you don't. So then you're like, is it this one? 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 And you have to kind of remind yourself, listen, maybe it worked for that person at that organization. That's not the same size as my organization, not the same pain points as my organization. It's great to learn from everybody, but you're going to have to be willing to kind of like hodgepodge, pull from here, pull from here, pull from here, test, see if it works. I'm always cautious of how noisy it's become, whether it's AI tools or this should be your strategy. We've become pretty loud. And I think that it can be very overwhelming.
Do you find that you're doing a lot of content marketing in your thought leadership pieces and such, like that's going out mostly on LinkedIn? And do you have like newsletters, or how are you?
Yeah. So we have our own blog on our website. We also have dark social. So we keep a lot of our posts inside of either X or LinkedIn. Our buying market is very heavily in LinkedIn. We utilize video too. So we do have a contract with a video as a service agency. So we've been able to produce 200 videos a year for the last 2+ years. And these are not just, these are hype videos, product videos, long form interviews with thought leaders, sliced and diced micro interviews for social media. And then also we have an internal company newsletter for our employees. We have a customer newsletter for our existing customers. We have a prospect newsletter for those that are early stage, mid stage funnel. And then we also have a very separate LinkedIn newsletter for our LinkedIn new audience. So we are trying to reach them, not always sharing the exact same things, but really thinking of like what they're looking for and reaching out to them that way. Oh, we'll sleep sometime.
Yeah,
no,
like
just kidding.
You're keeping everybody.
No, it's a wonderful team. I've had the opportunity to work with them at other companies before, and they've, been able to hop on board and be wonderful members of the team, and they're experts in their craft, and they're leveraging the right tools for efficiencies. And, we're just really good at ruthless project management also, so that on the content side of the house, you're not at the 11th hour trying to crunch out all of these newsletters at the exact same time. And, we utilize our resources very well. Have to.
Yeah. And I've learned a lot, and I know the audience will have too. Do you have any last things you'd like to share?
My goodness. I've touched on a lot with AI and a lot with content. I think it's an interesting discussion. I'm really glad we got to touch base on just the overwhelmingness of AI out there today. And if you are looking to adopt it, and here's what I will say to that. So it can be very easy if you're a consumer, or if you're in the job market, or maybe you're in a spot where you're like confused, is AI going to take over my job? The way that I look at it is we have a long way to go. I do think that more organizations and departments will bring AI on to their existing staff. So maybe it lowers the amount that they hire, or maybe it does affect a job. The way I look at it is I'm filling gaps right now with it. But I also think that, like, if you've been hesitant in your AI journey of how do I want to adopt it? Should I adopt it? Do I need to train up on it? One of the smartest things I think that you can do, because it's not going to go away, is to learn how to prompt. Test it, play with it. Even if you're at home and you're using ChatGPT, just use it for and I found myself doing this. I was looking for other cars the other day, and I used to go on US News Report or whatever and say, top family 3-row SUVs, or which ones were midsize, which ones were full size. Well, now, go on ChatGPT and test and play and say, hey, I need a 3-row and I carry a lot of sports equipment in the back. So I'm looking for what's the best full size SUV with the most cargo space. And how does it differ from, and I'm thinking of this one, but how does it really differ? I'm thinking of GMC, but how does it differ from the Toyota? Those are great ways to test your prompting skills. And I think, and then there's great resources and tools out there too, as you can test and build workflows and test it in your consumer and your private life first and see how it can work, especially if you've got, I think we all need to be habitual learners right now and all look at how we can bring that in. And we have to be able to understand how to prompt it and how to work with it and have just an initial beginner level strategy. Exactly. It has been wonderful at just shortening the research cycle. And it's starting to do a lot better too, putting together spreadsheets for you.
Yeah.
And so that's been really great for me. Our oldest son he's in middle school and plays tackle football, and he's of age now to start doing, middle school football camps in the spring that are like invite onlys. And so I've been able to use it to help research, what do we need to look at? Can you help me put a spreadsheet in so we can track it? And so these are great, again, personal tasks that you can test as you're building and flexing that skill before you pivot and kind of bring it into work.
Sherri, thank you so much. This has just been such a great conversation. I really enjoyed our chat and all of the great practical advice that you also gave us. Tell us what your website is one more time and if we can find you on LinkedIn.
Oh, you can absolutely find me on LinkedIn. So please, and I love virtual coffee talks. I love networking. I love having chats and kind of growing. If you have a question, you ever want to connect, always find me on LinkedIn. And then, our website is www.ovationcxm.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. And thank you all for watching. And we'll see you at the next episode of The Interior Public. Thanks so much.